Let's jump right in. Today we're tackling a really fascinating question. Are the meals we eat every day just basic fuel, or are they actually medicine? We're going to explore some incredible insights from an introductory university lecture on natural products by Associate Professor Dr. Nadiah Syafiqah. And honestly, understanding this completely changes how you look at both the grocery store and the pharmacy. So let's get into it. Picture a standard spread of fast food. Pizzas loaded with toppings, thick burgers, fries, sugary donuts, sodas, the works. It's a classic, recognizable picture of the modern diet, right? We often grab these indulgent things for comfort or just pure convenience, but we rarely pause to think about how these everyday habits actually connect to our long-term health. We're definitely packing in the calories, but the real question is, are we giving our bodies the tools they actually need to thrive? Or are we just kind of filling the tank with low-grade fuel? Well, that brings us to an ancient, totally different philosophy. Let food be your medicine. It's a massive contrast to that fast food reality we just looked at. But more importantly, this ancient idea serves as the perfect philosophical hook for how modern science is actually approaching what we consume today. Researchers are taking a step back and realizing that nature isn't just a place to get calories. It's essentially a massive, complex pharmacy that can actively influence our biology and our overall health. Defining the natural categories. Now, this is where things can get a little tricky because the terminology around natural health is everywhere and it gets super confusing. So we're going to untangle three very distinct natural product categories from Dr. Shafiqah's lecture to help you understand exactly what it is you're putting into your body. First step, functional foods. These are your everyday foods that give you baseline nutritional benefits way beyond just keeping you alive. You can think of them as the hardest workers in your kitchen pantry. A great example would be something like oats, which have specific fibers that actively help manage cholesterol. Or tomatoes, which are absolutely packed with antioxidants. They look like normal food, and you eat them as part of a normal meal, but they possess an inherent natural function that supports your baseline health. Then, taking a pretty definitive step away from the dinner plate and moving closer to the medicine cabinet, we have dietary supplements. Now, the main difference here, these are nutrients that have been separated from whole foods and packed into highly concentrated, specific doses. So, instead of eating a giant bowl of spinach to get certain vitamins, a dietary supplement isolates those exact vitamins and delivers them in a concentrated format, just to make sure you're easily hitting your daily nutritional goals. When you see these nutrients isolated into pills and capsules like this, you're not really thinking about a meal anymore, are you? You're thinking about a targeted routine. Supplements do exactly what the name implies. They supplement the diet. They're basically filling in the nutritional gaps that our standard diets might be missing rather than acting as a primary treatment for a disease. And that brings us to the third and honestly most advanced category, nutraceuticals. These are highly specialized products derived from food sources that provide extra health benefits, which actually includes the prevention of diseases. This is a huge leap. We aren't just filling nutritional gaps anymore. We are actively using compounds derived from nature to prevent or manage real medical conditions. It really is the perfect bridge between food and medicine. Think of it as the ultimate marriage of nature's pharmacy and clinical science. You're taking the most vibrant, biologically active components of food, and medical professionals are actually validating and using them to hit specific health outcomes. It perfectly captures the dual nature of nutraceuticals, taking the absolute best of what food has to offer and utilizing it as a targeted clinical intervention. The so what factor, targeting chronic diseases. Why does getting these precise categories right actually matter so much? Well, you wouldn't use a hammer to drive a screw, right? In the exact same way, you need to know exactly which natural product category is scientifically appropriate when you're dealing with serious chronic health conditions. To put the scale of this into perspective, we're talking about major, life-altering chronic diseases here. Diabetes, cancer, heart disease, and osteoarthritis. These conditions impact millions of people all over the world. And right now, the scientific community is intensely focused on how the exact, precise application of nutraceuticals can help manage, mitigate, or even completely alter how these diseases progress. Let's zoom in on a real-world clinical application. Take osteoarthritis, which is a really painful degradation of joint cartilage. The targeted nutraceuticals used to address it are glucosamine, often just called GLN, and chondroitin sulfate, or CS. Notice how incredibly specific that mapping is. We aren't just telling someone with osteoarthritis to go eat more functional foods. We are mapping a very specific ailment directly to a very specific, scientifically isolated natural compound. I really want to emphasize those two, glucosamine and chondroitin sulfate. Because for something like osteoarthritis, your clinical focus has to move entirely away from generalized nutrition. You need the exact targeted biological mechanisms that these specific nutraceuticals provide to actually support joint health and rebuild cartilage structure. It just proves that when natural products are properly identified and applied clinically, they are way more than just healthy eating. They literally act as targeted physiological tools. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative question based on everything we've unpacked from Dr. Shafiqah's lecture. The next time you sit down for a meal, or the next time you're wandering down the supplement aisle, I challenge you to look at it through this precise scientific lens. Are you just eating, or are you medicating? Are you simply consuming empty calories, or are you actively using functional foods, supplements, and nutraceuticals to engineer your health? It's a pretty powerful way to rethink our relationship with nature's pharmacy. Thanks so much for exploring this with me, and I'll catch you on the next one.